Shalom, shalom, family. Everybody, love all y'all. Beautiful black people. Let nobody tell y'all beautiful, whether you're a boy or a girl, right? Girls ain't the ones that's beautiful, right? So the bread y'all got and the wine, this is like the tradition that Christ did with his disciples before the Passover, because like I said, he couldn't be the Passover. Well, he couldn't be with them at Passover. So how we doing this right now, he couldn't do that. So we eating the lamb, so that day he got killed. So when you go to church and y'all had that communion night where they do the bread and crackers, that's like them doing this, what we doing right now. We just ain't had communion night. We ain't got there yet, but we get there. But basically he couldn't have Passover with them, so we had Passover with his disciples, knowing that he'll have to be the Passover itself, the actual lamb, to sacrifice the blood. Like I said, the blood on the doorpost. So that's why y'all see all the red, the blood that covers us, right? That covers you for your sins and gets you into the heaven, right? So I'm gonna read this. This is Matthew 26, 26 verses through 29, right? And it says, "And as they were eating, Yeshua took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, 'Take, eat, this is my body.' And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, 'Drink ye all of it. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom.'" So he ain't had no more drink. He said he wouldn't drink till he sees it again. So y'all can definitely eat y'all bread and drink y'all juice. This is not no cult thing. This is what Christ is doing. So if we in a cult, they in a cult too. What you going for, baby? I didn't realize how much I like bread until I started following the Bible. Now I eat bread all the time. Except for my brother, he beats me in that category.
He just said that. He eats sandwiches every day.
It's very dope. Who got cider? Champions. I will give y'all wine, but I feel bad. Look at the news and one of y'all crash. Oh, look at that crazy Passover party.
You giving it to the boy?
Huh?
Like 20% right there. That's not bad.
It's not that though. It's just if somebody don't drink alcohol anyway, it can be strong to somebody who don't drink it. Like don't ever touch it and they get a little bit. And I think wine don't taste as bad as vodka and stuff.
So what you do in the case that you don't drink at all?
Yeah, I don't drink.
Yeah, alcohol.
Oh, I mean.
Yes.
I mean, they also drinking too, though, so it's different, right? So as they're doing the Passover, I can explain that too. While they're doing the Passover, everybody gonna be in the house anyway. Back in the day, you ain't going outside. You know, we're not going to strip clubs and nothing going on. So at nighttime, y'all go in the house anyway. So you do drink and get a little buzz. You ain't going nowhere. Compared to now, people want to go out 10, 12 o'clock, the places they're supposed to be, stuff like that. So it's a little different compared to back then. All right, so this is the Passover. So I'm gonna go with a few of the scriptures. You want this first one right here? Leviticus. All right, so this is Leviticus chapter 23, verse 4 through 8. This is talking about the Passover and unleavened bread, which we're in.
These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. And the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. And the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. And in the seventh day is an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
All right, so we're not doing no offerings because Christ died for that. So he died for the law of sacrifice, right? All the other laws are still intact. The feast laws, the moral laws, the civil laws, all those things are still intact. With the sacrificial laws, so we don't have to sacrifice a lamb or go every time you make a sin or go to the priest's house. So you know how like the Catholics go to that little booth and they be confessing their sins? Well, they feel like if they do that, that's the way to get in. Not to get in, but it's like covering their sins. You don't do that. All right. You sin, it is what it is. But you talk to God yourself and you get that that pardon. You know what I'm saying? And you by repenting, not doing it again. But you don't got to talk to nobody. Don't call nobody father unless he the one who gave you birth. Okay, that's not. Don't call my man father. Don't call him father. That's not how that works. Right. So this is the story right here. It's broken down in Exodus. So this is the first time the Passover actually happened. This is with Moses. Right. So this is Exodus 12. It's actually a lot. So we're gonna just read Exodus 12. You're just gonna follow along. So this is the first one. This verse 1 through 10.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts, and on the upper door posts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire, and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire his head with his legs, and with the puritance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire.
Now keep going.
Okay. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover.
All right, stop. So you see, it says, with your loins girded and your shoes on your feet, your staff in your hand. Well, they got to do this because they got to go. You see, in haste, haste is like a speedy thing. So this is why the whole thing about unleavened bread, they didn't have time to get no leaven. Because he like, look, once y'all do this, come nighttime, y'all got to leave. Because once Pharaoh come to us, he gonna let y'all go now. When he come to his senses, he not gonna let y'all leave no more. But at this time, when they doing the Passover, this is when the soul is taking over all the kids, the firstborns, whoever's a child, whether it's an animal or an adult, right? That's happening. Everybody crying. Pharaoh's hurt. Pharaoh say, "Let go. Bye. Y'all can go." But wake up in the morning, he like, "What I just do? Like, you let go all the slaves. We got no employees now." So can you imagine Amazon just not having no employees? I'd be mad. Like I just ordered a package the other day, so I need that. You know what I'm saying?
Also with Trump letting all the immigrants.
Yeah, so that would cause a lot. So that's why I say eat it in haste. But that's the real that's one of the reasons why we don't you eat the bread without the yeast in it, right? Because they didn't have time to go get all that. Like you already got the grain, whatever it is, whether it's corn, whether it's flour, you got that. You don't got time to go get nothing to make it rise. We need to go because we got to be on our feet. All right. So now we on verse 12, and you're gonna continue reading the story.
For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and I will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt. I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation. In the 7th day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. And ye shall observe the feast of the unleavened bread, for in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe this day in your generation preparations by an ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened, in all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread.
All right, so this is where it skips. Go down to 33.
33. Okay.
Yeah, and read to 39.
And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste, for they said, we be all dead men. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men beside children, and mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, and even very much cattle. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt. For it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual.
So they didn't even get no meat. Right? They had no meat. They had nothing. They just had the bread. Right? So they out there in the wilderness living on bread or some type of grain. You know what I'm saying? Like rice, oats, all those is grains, right? And that's probably one of the best foods to have. And I'm gonna talk about it later about but storing because somebody asked me about like what we gonna do in the end time. So that's what this lesson is really about, right? What's happening? Because I know y'all see the world going crazy. People talking about tariffs, Canada, China, Russia. I just heard that they cutting half the military back, right, in America, which is, I mean, they said Russia said nobody joined it anyway, so I guess they're not losing no money. But that's what we're gonna talk about today, like a little bit what's going on and what you should do during this time period. All right. So we're still talking about the 11. So this is a spiritual aspect of the 11, right? So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6 through 8. And this is the spiritual aspect that Christ is talking about. So technically, you can eat bread today, right? It's the at night you're not supposed to eat it. Could that be the first day unleavened bread? But Christ said, just remove all the leaven out, just get it out the way, right? Because if you do it that way, you already be programmed to do it instead of trying to prepare and try to rush. Because this would be actually the day they're preparing, throwing all the bread and stuff out, whatever. But you're doing that and you're ready to Passover. No, just do it the night before. Throw it away, thing away, get ready for it. So this is the spiritual aspect about the leaven. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6 through 8.
Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened, for even Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us. Therefore, let us keep the feast not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
All right, so the spiritual aspect, like I said, the leaven is something like in your life that's bad, right? Say you was committing a sin, or say we got somebody in the church that just don't want to be part of the church or doing something. That's part of the leaven. They gotta go, right? Because that one leaven, if you ever seen like bread get cooked and it's not baked right, and it had like a big old lump here or something like that. That's what happens with leaven. So that you also got to put yeast in it or whatever leavening agent you use. You also got to put that in at a certain amount. You know what I'm saying? Well, I guess a certain measurement because it'll mess the whole thing up. Just like that spiritually in your life, you can mess stuff up by having something that you don't need in your life, whether it's some type of vice, anything, right? You need to remove those things, and this was God taking you through the process. Because of what you don't know or haven't recognized during all the feasts actually take us through what you need through the journey, right? So Passover is getting you prepared to only be able to eat grains because there's gonna be a time period you're not gonna be able to just like I say, they said they had no victuals, right, with no meat, right? It's gonna be a time where you're not gonna go to the grocery store. I don't know if y'all seen the grocery store now. Have anybody seen the Amazon grocery store? Nobody seen it? It's crazy. You seen it? The grocery store, not the convenience store, the grocery store.
Amazon Fresh.
It's called, I guess it's called that. Amazon. You been in there?
No.
Okay, so they got grocery stores. So there is no more cashiers. Like that's the new thing, right? But you gotta have like an Amazon pass or the card, or you can have it in your hand, whatever which way. But it's a grocery store, right? And they got food just like everybody else. You put in the card, bling bling bling. I think I got the video on the thing about doing. I'll show it to y'all. But it's just a grocery store, right? Just like so, and everything's going taken away. So I go to Mom's. I'm not telling y'all I shop at Mom's, but Mom's is a mom and pop store, really, right? They got a few stores or whatever. But the reason why we fell off so far apart is because they got us used to going to big stores, right? All the mom and pop stores did. So when you go to the big store, they control everything, and now they control everything. This is why we got problems with our food and stuff like that. So like anybody don't know, we get free healthcare, right? And people who want free healthcare, they complain about Medicaid, Trump doing this, Trump doing that. But I don't know if y'all know this. In order to get free healthcare, they're allowed to poison the food or put whatever in it. I mean, you're not paying for it, so we should be able to do what we want to the food. The reason why Europe and all them, like people, some people go out the country, they go like Dominican Republic and all that, but they don't have those rules because they got to pay for healthcare, right? But by them paying for their own healthcare, they can't poison the food. This is why their food tastes different to ours, or why their people don't be as sick, or they small, they not as fat. We the most fat country, the most sick. We all the worst about it, but it's because they control the healthcare. So that's something we don't want to do. All right. So during this time, we're going to study and learn, right? So this is Isaiah 33, verse 6, and Proverbs 22 and 3.
And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure.
So it says, wisdom and knowledge is the ability of the times, right? And the strength of the salvation. So the only way you're really going to prosper, right, is you with the Lord, but you also got to have this knowledge to come with it. You know what I'm saying? Learn about certain things because just think about it. Most people don't know where certain things come from, right? I was watching some video and they didn't know what relish was. They like they thought relish was some type of I don't know what they thought it was, but they didn't know a relish was just a cucumber, right? That somebody's thing. So just imagine if you don't have this type of knowledge, what happens when you see what I'm saying? What happens when you go out into the wilderness and you don't know these things, right? You can have this stuff right there, but the problem is back in the day you would have to go to the fish market, all that stuff every day, to get your food or shop groceries every week. Now you can get groceries that can probably last you 2 months, right? And all of it's not good. The grains, oats, and stuff that's different. But when you got like Doritos and the expiration date to like December, it's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? But people don't look at it like that because it's easier, it's convenient. But what they're doing is, they ever seen the We Wall Eat, they just making you lazy because now you become lazy, you become dependent on them. So when they shut everything down, you have no skills. Like people don't know how to write no more. People can't count. It's crazy. Like, people at the register, you get somebody like a change, it be like 12, 20, you get them like a 20 cent. They be like, and they'll just be freezing and try to give you 80 cents, like just give me $1 back. Oh, well, I don't know because they don't know how to count. Why do I know how to count when everything counts for me? Why do I know how to write when I could just type in my signature? I could just type in JLG and boom, I got a signature, right? So we want to stay away from those things like that. So this is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3.
It's even worse than that. 'Cause remember they had numbers on cash registers?
Mm-hmm.
Now they have pictures.
Yeah, you make it easier though. That's what I'm saying. You make it so like so. I used to be at work. I used to do something funny, right? I used to like say we had to count money every night. I'll count 20, 40, 60, 80, and it'll be like a 50 in there. So instead of separating the 50, I put it in the mix. So it'll go 20, 40, 60, 80, and 50 turn to 130. But people can't count. They be like, dang it. And then what happened is they'll try to look at the screen because the screen got how much it's supposed to be. I'll turn the computer off. And they be like, man, why you do that? I was like, because you got to make sure. Because if you go by the screen, you could just give me the money and say it's right, and then we get in trouble the next morning because somebody stole some money. So, but yeah, I noticed a lot of people people don't know how to ride bikes. I remember this was years ago, but I was younger. It was snowing. It was like 2009 or so. It was snowing, and my niece and nephew were outside, and they were playing in the snow, but they not making snowballs. So I made a snowball, and they were just looking at me. I hit one of them too. They just like. Yo, how did you do that? It's like, dang, you make a snowball? This is crazy. So it's like they're removing you from all outdoor things. But we need to, you know what I'm saying, get back outside and start doing stuff like that. So this is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3.
A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished.
It said, if prudent man foreseeth the evil and hide himself, but the simple man pass on and are punished. So when you see the evil, go away from it. Hide. Don't even try to be a part of it because it's dangerous, right? You don't want to participate in these dangerous things because then, it'll cause problems. So this is stuff that you should be doing and staying away from, right? So this is 2 Timothy, it's chapter 2, verses 14 through 18. Gotta study to show yourself approved of God.
Of these things put them in remembrance, charging them before the Lord that They strive not about words to no profit, but to the subverting of the hearers. Study to shew thyself approved unto God, and a workman that needeth not to be shamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. But shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodliness, and their word will eat as doth a canker, of whom is Hymenaeus and Philetus, who concerning the truth have erred, saying that the resurrection is the past already, and overthrow the faith of some.
All right, so it's saying that the resurrection is past already. So some people believe that Christ already came back for the second time, right? So I don't know what the third situation is. I don't know, right? But this is just you learning about God, right? Study God, learn the word. And yeah, you're not gonna be no super scholar. I ain't no scholar, right? But the more you learn, the more you want to learn. God will reveal things to you. Like I said, I learn stuff about every day, and I've been watching. And I don't even watch the news. But if you just Google what's going on in the world today, you'd be surprised, like what they show. And so much is going on, right? You can't even keep up with it. So, for instance, anybody hear about the earthquake in Italy?
Mhm.
You heard about that, right?
Nope.
Okay, so he said no. So I guess they had one at nighttime, but Italy is clearly, I guess, a place that doesn't have earthquakes. Like that's not meant to happen. So now they happen, now they freaking out. Like what's going on, right? But just think about that. How often have you heard about the earthquake compared to the Canada thing, or the tariffs, or Trump doing something? Just Trump is usually the topic now. Trump is Trump, 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 Trump. Yeah.
That's right.
He went to the bathroom too many times. Trump did something today. All right. But just think about they give you information, right? But think about what they're not showing you. And I'm gonna show you a couple of videos of something they're not showing you, something I saw I thought was crazy. I never heard nothing like this in my life, right? So this is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11 through 16.
And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive.
15 to 16.
15, see, okay.
Yeah.
But speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Christ, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compact by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love.
All right, so they said it gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors, some teachers, right? Perfecting of the saints in the chemistry. So God gives you people, pastors, and things like that, right? To help you out, understand the word, right? So I'll be one of those people. But the problem is I tell people all the time. Let's say you're listening to me, right? You're like, oh, Jua, he a good teacher, this, and that, right? If you are not strong at deciphering the word, don't go around just listening to a bunch of people listening to the or preaching the word, right? So when it talks about on right here, it says 14. It says that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro, carried about with everyone a doctrine. So people do that, right? They'll go from like I know so many people that's like Mormons, then it was Catholics, then they Catholic, they went to Pentecost, they went to Pentecost, and then they I don't know Calvinists. They'll go to so much, right? But the problem isn't the I guess the denomination. It's because you're not really focused on what God's trying to teach you. You're not really focused on the Bible. You're going by the easiest itching word. Oh, they do this, I'm gonna go there. Well, I like what they do, I'm gonna go over here. You just try to be comfortable in the church, right? But the problem is you're not really getting the word. You know what I'm saying? You're going to so many different places. Like, do you know how many people I know go to church on Good Friday and then go to church on Easter Sunday and Friday to Sunday, not even 3 days? Like, you can't even count. You're so blinded by tradition and stupidness, you can't even count. And when I say count from Friday, they be like, oh, it's wait a minute. And this whole time you've been going to church 30, 40 years, you can't even count, right? Because you never took the time to actually just study, actually ask God what the answers is, and you just go from people to people. So I tell you all the time, I'm not telling you not listen to nobody else but me. I'm not saying that. I only have 100 videos yet. I don't have none of that. But what I'm saying is be careful when you're going around. Listen to people because people got different doctrines based on what they do, right? Because people teach people teach in the way they want to control their church, right? So if I want to control my church a certain way, oh well, you come here, you can't dress up. I done been to churches where you can't up, you don't allow LGBT people in the church, right? Okay, well, I think it's weird because you're trying to save somebody. Why can't they come? Then I've been to churches where they run the church. I mean, it just depends. But you got to think about that. Is that matching up with doctrine? And if you keep going to listen to people just because it makes you feel better, that's not going to work. Because one thing I've learned over life, just living in different states and different people, working with different people, a lot of people not honest from the get go, right? When you talk to somebody, how you doing? What they say, I'm good, right? They could be having the worst day of their life. They gonna say they're good because you just taught that. You know what I'm saying? You kind of program with it. All right, so this is talking about a friend and how you would know what a friend is during this time period, right? So this is also studying and showing yourself and improving and learning because some friends, like I said, they're not around to be your friend for real. A friend is somebody who'll die for you. You may have friends that are not like that, right? You might have friends that is here because hey, you don't want to get the money, or you may have friends because you're a cool guy and you smoke, so we're gonna be with him, right? But he probably not your friend. He probably actually envious of you and waiting to plot and do something. So they talk about this in the book of Sirach, or I think it's called Ecclesiasticus, right? Yeah, this is Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. This is chapter 6, verses 1 through 17.
Instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue.
All right, skip to 6.
Skip to six.
Yeah.
Okay. Be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who, being turned to enemy and strife, will discover thy reproach. Again, some friend is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thine enemies, and take heed of thy friends. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright, for as he is, so shall his neighbor be also.
All right, so I'm telling you what a good friend is and a bad friend. Like I said, some people will be around you. I've had friends like that just because y'all was friends for a long time, but most people, birds of a feather flock together. So y'all could have been doing the same thing. Y'all could have been hustling together, playing basketball together, something, right? But as you grow, y'all don't have the same real foundations. And when it comes to God, if you're not with God the same way, God remove people out your life, whether it's your spouse, your mother, your father, stuff like that. It don't mean you disrespect nobody along the way or you dishonor somebody, none of those things, right? But he'll do that because why would God put us in a group of people and half the group don't even like each other? Right? But church will be like, we good. I'm like, that church not gonna make it. They think they are, they're not gonna make it. Right? And if they do make it, it's gonna be a few of them that do really like each other, and those are the ones God gonna put together close. Right? I went to a big church. This church says 4,000 people. It's hard for me to believe all 4,000 people know each other, right? They all know the pastor, which is good, right? But I don't even know what kind of relationship they have with the pastor. But it's no way that I believe they believe in each other, right? So let's say something do happen. Let's say the power go out. You think they can call every single member of their church and get some food or something? I probably not. Maybe, but there's relationships in the churches. I have seen people that's really close. They'll hang out stuff like that. But a lot of people don't like this person in the church. Like this is the church though. They fight over stupid stuff, fighting over like spots in the choir, like who's sitting in the front, who's sitting in the back, like adults. Like man, that's my spot. Been for 20 years. Like hey, bro, we all singing for God. It don't matter what you know. What I'm saying what spot it is. Almost like a child fighting over like a seat. All right, so here come these videos. So this is the woes to come, right? So it's gonna get bad. It is what it is. You just gotta eat that, right? They don't getting around it unless you did. If you did, you die tomorrow sometime soon. Then I guess you escape some of these woes. But then hopefully you right with God, and you in the good side of Abraham's bosom, which they call paradise. But let's say you out here on earth, it's gonna get bad. Y'all talking about grocery prices, all that. Look, it's gonna get worse than that. But it's gonna get bad. It's just part of it. And those are the things that are signs of telling of the end times, right? So this is the book of Sirach. This is chapter 18, verses 23 through 25.
Before thou prayest, prepare thyself, and be not as one that tempteth the Lord. Think upon the wrath that shall be at the end, and the time of vengeance, when he shall turn away his face. When thou hast enough, remember the time of hunger, and when thou art rich, think upon poverty and need.
So it's telling you, even when you're rich, or even when you got enough food and all this stuff, still think about the times when you didn't have no money, or the times where you didn't have no food. Because like I said, it's gonna be a time where everything gonna be scarce, and you're gonna have to really have friends or family or a body, which is a church body, to get through some of these hardships that's gonna happen, right? So this is Christ talking in the book of Matthew. So this is Matthew 24, verse 4 through about 24. Then we get to these videos. So Matthew 24, verse 4 through 24.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all of the world for a witness unto all nations, then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place.
All right, hold on. All right, so this is saying, it's saying don't be troubled. You're hearing wars, hear about wars, all this stuff, right? And war's been going on for a long time. I didn't know that Trump, I found this out recently, I think I said this something last time, but I didn't know Trump was the first president within the last, since, uh, since Baby Bush, I think. Not Baby Bush, Big Bush, to take troops or not have no time period where nobody was over there at war fighting, right? So since Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Biden, everybody was doing that, except for when Trump did it the first time. He took the troops home. Everybody been in war this whole time. I was in the eighth grade when the tower thing happened or whatever. And my teacher was like, he said, you know how long a war goes? He said, war be 20, 30 years. And I'm looking at him like, well, I played a video game all the time. We can kill us about here in 2, 3 weeks. And sure enough, that was 2001. And they still over there. Right? So this is how long I guess war, quote unquote, is. And now you during this time, they done invaded a lot of countries, right? So it ain't just been there. So you got you focus on, I guess that's Iraq, but then they trying to fight Iran, Afghanistan, Sudan. They took over Cuba. I mean, they took over all these places. It was this short bit of time, right? And when America takes somewhere, they go there, they post up, right? But that's supposed to happen. They say right here, say nation rising against nation, which is like race against race. And y'all see it's race wars happening now, right? You black, you white. It's crazy. Kingdom against kingdom. That's always been happening though. That's like the Olympics. You know, somebody care about somebody else's country, which I never understood that. Or you see Ukraine fighting Russia, which is crazy because all Ukrainians are Russian. I don't understand, right? These are the things that's happening, but people get scared and they're worried about. They talk about famine, pestilence, earthquakes, different places, right? All these are the sorrows, but these are things that we got to go through, right? It's just part of it. But it's also a sign, though, right, to let you know this is the beginning. So this is where it's going to start cooking up. So now that you see all these things, right, from this day forward, you didn't know, get your life together, right? But get your life together and you stay out the way, right? Because God wants this to happen. So you ever heard of like what's it called, Wrath of the Titans, when the gods fought the Titans or whatever? So that's supposed to be this is before the flood. So this is like the Nephilim fighting all the fallen angels. All they all having a fight. So while God's letting them all fight and do what they doing, you know what Noah doing? They build a boat. Hey, mind your business. They got nothing to do with you, bro. Right? That's what we supposed to be doing. We would be building our boat, get ready, mind your business, right? And I know it can be a distraction. And I'm not saying you're not supposed to watch, because you should watch TV. Like, you send me the video. You should watch TV. You should be aware of what's going on, because they're gonna tell all that, but don't get involved. My brother was like, you saw some black dude or fighting for the little thing. Nah. If it's black, I'm not involved in it. You know why? Because when a white person kills a black person, it's outrage. When I kill a black person, it's nothing. So let me know that you're not really about a life or murder. You just care about whatever the news is, whatever. So no, don't fall for none of this stuff. Don't get into no group, no militia group, none of that. Right? Go to church. Go to church. Stay home. Stay with your family. Play your video game. Be with your friends. Don't get involved because that's all they're doing is making wars and wars. And I'm gonna show y'all this in a couple of these videos. So this is Matthew 24:16 through 24. The continuation of Christ talking about what's going on.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down and take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christ and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, and so much that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
All right, so this is great with Hives and Wonders. So I don't have no videos of that today, but I've seen videos where they got like they're like, oh, that's the Mary in the sky, like, oh, that's an angel or something like that. They'll have these little virtual reality things or whatever they call it. Then they call it drones, like the little drones. I think it was on Spider-Man, and they just had drones, and the drones can make it like a monster, right? Yeah, so they're doing all this type of thing that people are looking at that, right? And they're like, oh, this and that. But we all know when Christ come, everybody will see it. Well, guess what? I didn't see that. Can't be Christ. That's easy, right? That's an easy fix. But if you don't know that or you don't believe in that, you can be deceived. And it says some of the very elect. I think I'm one of the elect. I could be wrong. I didn't want to elect. If I fall for that, I just already did come with it. Like, oh yeah, look at that. It's the person in the sky is Mary. How y'all didn't know what Mary looked like? Yeah, I think she would be like, I guess, a Caucasian lady. I'm not even sure about that, right? Because they say she is Jew. They said the Jews have dark skin. So I don't know. It's just a cloud. They don't show no color in this, nothing. But just think about if these type of things, if I'm looking at stuff like that, right? And I'm worried. But then, like I said, there are signs like this, what I'm about to show you, that all this stuff is happening and it's not being talked about because, like I said, they care about tariffs, stuff like that. So this happened about a year ago. So we're going to watch this video real quick.
The Texas Gulf Coast is dealing with a very different problem. The heat wave is taking a major toll on marine life. Hundreds of dead fish washed ashore in Broward County near Houston this weekend. Zach Tortari reports from the coast.
Seas of dead fish washing up along parts of the Texas coast, showing the incredible power of Mother Nature.
Hypoxia is when we have lower than normal dissolved oxygen in the water, are very common in the summer.
Katie St. Clair is the Sea Life Facility Manager at Texas A&M University at Galveston. St. Clair says the fish simply can't breathe.
As we get these warmer Gulf water temperatures, the water itself has less capacity to hold dissolved oxygen, which of course is really important and essential for the fish and other animals to breathe.
While St. Clair says this can affect schools of fish more, other fish can also succumb to the event, as seen by social media posts like these, and plenty of curious passersby who are breathing this all in.
Pretty bad and stinky.
Brazoria County says they can understand people's reactions.
It's still alarming to see that, and just because it's a natural occurrence doesn't mean it's necessarily a pleasant one.
The recent temperature spike, they say, has been a catalyst.
That's kind of the perfect storm to combine, that it can really produce pockets in the water where the dissolved oxygen.
A lack of wave action has also contributed to the problem. The county has been coming through here with heavy equipment, raking the fish up near the shoreline and taking them over here to bury them in these sand dunes, which covers up the smell, and the fish become compost, which serves as a healthy part of the ecosystem for the dune grass. And while this is something that isn't all that uncommon,
It's happened before. I've seen it twice.
it's hard to predict how long exactly it might last.
It's crazy.
But it's an issue the county says they will continue to deal with.
We'll clean them up. Our park department will get those up and get those beaches back to being clean so that people can get back and enjoy those beaches.
All right, so that was happening in Texas last year, right? So it's like, okay, cool, the water changed, whatever. So this is another video. This is all the same year. This ain't Texas, by the way. J-Pan.
It's a lot of money right there. I ain't gonna lie.
Ain't no good now.
Yeah. Lord have mercy.
That's a lot of fish, bro.
That's a lot of fish, bro.
They still coming.
And waves at that. That's just crazy.
They said that they said they got after the cold water exhaustion, right? Being hunted, they not sure.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, no.
To eat it.
That's crazy.
All right, so you saw that, right? That's two places. It's all in the same year, though. All right, this is great. It's all in the same year.
Contractors in Australia have a big job ahead of them, removing millions of rotting fish from a river in the outback. This after an unprecedented die-off following floods and hot weather, according to police.
I haven't got a time frame at the moment, but I anticipate it will be this week, and obviously for the people who've been injured, want that to be sooner rather than later.
Officials say it likely happened because the fish need more oxygen in hot weather, but oxygen levels in the water dropped after recent floods receded.
It's a tale of two stories now. There's no flow and the quality looks bad and it smells bad. So we're just trying to see if there's any fish that have survived in this water. But I don't have high hopes of seeing any fish this afternoon.
One town official said keeping the town's water supply pure was the main priority. Removing the dead fish was the next most pressing issue. Mass fish deaths have been happening on the Darling River in recent weeks. Tens of thousands of fish were found at the same spot in late February. There were also several found near the South Australia and Victoria borders. Enormous fish kills also occurred on the river at Menindee during severe drought conditions in late 2018. 2019. Authorities say the current death toll looks far bigger than the events back then. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Stephanie Officer.
All right, so this is the thing, right? This is really weird to me. So if y'all look, like they said, the sardines, it was all sardines, right? Then the other ones look like all the same fish. So the water is being affected. Where the other fish at? Because there's tons of fish. You're not seeing jellyfish. You're not seeing nothing like that, right? So even this is a godly thing where God is killing all the fish to show you what's going on. Because you see, when God does things, it's in big masses, or somebody's purposely doing this. Another thing they said about the water, they said the water temperature rises, this and that. Well, the water temperature changes all the time. Like the ocean, if you don't know, it's 30 degrees, right? It's salt water. So it's always freezing, it's always cold, right? And they said global warming. Yeah, I've been seeing global warming stuff. You ain't hear about things like this. They all happen in the same year, right? This is not no coincidence, but they'll tell you that. Like I just learned not too long ago that most of our oxygen, it don't come from trees. It comes from water. Because the water got way more oxygen than I said, that's crazy. So this whole time, they've been telling us about the trees. It's just the daggone water.
Ocean has H2.
Yeah, so
Trees don't have no O in it.
they don't, right? So that's what I'm saying. So most of that's coming because when you, if you ever thought about it, right? If you ever went swimming, right? You know, you be swimming, you be tired. It's not the same as you be tired when you outside that water because your body constantly getting constant oxygen, constant oxygen. The more oxygen you have, the faster your body heals. When your body healing from broken bones, it's more oxygen. So let's say you was living in the mountains, right? You would heal faster than somebody that was living at the bottom, because it's more oxygen up there. Well, they'll tell you it's nothing, which is really crazy. But they're doing this because they tell you, like, they, you know, they were saying, don't tell the people don't get the fish. Like, yeah, I mean, that's free money. The fish market about to go out of business. Yeah, all you gotta do is grab as much as you can, take it home, freeze it. I mean, it is what it is. Because all they doing is dying from the water level. It wasn't like it was poison, right? But they like, well, they're gonna poison our pockets because that's a lot of fish, right? So I don't know if y'all been to the store, they was talking about eggs, right? And I was talking about mom. So I was telling my brother, I got like a dozen of eggs. And he was like, man, how much they cost? Say $5. He said, man, no way. I went to the store, $8. I said, look, you went to a big grocery store. Everybody price is gonna be up. Mom's is it's a mom and pop store. It's their own business. They don't want to raise the prices. I go there and get a dozen and a half, which is 18. That was $7. He said the regular dozen was like 10 at the grocery store. I said, yeah, but this the thing. look who you shopping with. You're shopping with Shoppers or Walmart. You're shopping one of the bigger monsters, right? But not realizing, like, even when COVID came and all this stuff, when all that stuff was happening, right, or whatever we call it, 1908, when all that stuff was happening, they are creating the what they call it, the famines. And this guy's going to say this, that he's literally going to say this on his mouth.
With regard to food shortages, we did talk about food shortages, and it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia; it's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And because both Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat, for example, just give one example. But we had a long discussion in the G7 with with both the United States, which has a significant, the third largest producer of wheat in the world, as well as Canada, which is also a major producer. And we both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. In addition to that, we talked about urging all the European countries and everyone else to end trade restrictions on sending limitations on sending food abroad. And so we are in the process of working out with our European friends what it would take to help alleviate the concerns relative to food shortages.
All right, so they was really slick. I don't know if you caught it. He said we are going to increase and disseminate food shortages. Disseminate means spread information. So they're creating the food shortages. Remember you was talking about Canada, about the terrorist things. Everybody talking about Canada taking this and they don't want to fight back. Nah, it's all about this. He just said Canada is what, number 2, I think, in the wheat, and America's number 3, right? So just think about that. The flour I was telling y'all about that you need, the grain, they run that in the whole world. So you take that and you short it, they know what's coming. And they know this is a valuable thing, right? So you got the people talking about meats being poisoned, but we take away the wheats, right? And that could be any kind of grain. We take away those and shorten those, they know, because they know that's probably the best food you're gonna have to survive. When Joseph went through the famine in Egypt, that's what they were using, grain. He stored grain, right? They're gonna store meats and stuff like that. You can, but it's not gonna last. Grain can last for like I got like buckets I keep the pellets in for the grill. You can put grains in there, that's 25 years. Right, you can't do that with all the food, but they know this though, but you don't. Like he literally said, we're going to increase food shortages. Now he didn't use those words, but that's why I tell you all the time. You don't know a word, go look it up, right? Because somebody could be using it to make it seem like you dumb, but it'd be a word that you recognize. Like I said, disseminate just means spread information. So he said we're going to increase spreading information about food shortages. That's all he said. They didn't say about stopping or anything or whatever. Then y'all remember with that bridge that crashed in Baltimore that broke, right? So that's the port. So that port brings in like tractors and stuff. So now the farmers in Ohio and them, they can't do their job. South Dakota, North Dakota, they can't do their job because this idiot or whoever they said crashed the thing. That's this bridge been here for so long, right? Why would y'all break this bridge? Oh man, it was an accident, XYZ. Not an accident, man. Somebody did it on purpose because it shuts down so much. Because I tell you all the time, have you ever seen people freak out when they don't have power for a couple hours? Well, imagine not having power for 30 days. You ain't gonna know what to do because everything you do is based off power. People don't know how to make fires. People don't know how to make electricity. None of these things. Everything is based off of power. I think I got another video.
Yes.
So this is let me see what this one is.
Authorities in Greece have declared a state of emergency after several days of consecutive earthquakes on the island.
Okay, so this island right here has had a lot of earthquakes. Anybody want to guess how many earthquakes they had within a week?
Which island?
Central, right?
Yeah,
How many in a week? Give me 12.
12. Good guess. About you? You want to guess? One guess? One guess?
30.
Hundreds? 30. Anybody else?
25.
25. Anybody else?
Who's that?
It's like the island of Santina. It's like all these little islands in between Europe, like Europe and I guess that's called the Middle East. I don't know. I think this is all called Africa or Asia. They all connected. Thousands, right? Check this out.
Authorities in Greece have declared a state of emergency after several days of consecutive earthquakes on the island of Santorini. As the tremors have shaken the island, locals have been getting in.
On Monday, 3rd February 2025, authorities in the Greek island of Santorini ordered the closure of schools and airports. Around 11,000 people have left Santorini so far, and ferry operators and airlines are also helping in the evacuation efforts. The reason for people leaving Santorini? Earthquakes. Santorini recorded 7,700 tremors in the past week alone, with the most powerful registering 5.2 on the seismograph. This group of islands in the center of the Aegean Sea, known for their iconic white and blue architecture, which beams in the shining sun, are a major international tourist destination. Santorini is one of the islands in the Cyclades group and came into existence as a result of an immense volcanic eruption, the Minoan eruption of around 1600 BC. So, earthquakes are no strangers to this group of Cycladic islands, but the amount and intensity of these quakes has prompted concerns of larger tremors that could trigger a tsunami. The current barrage of earthquakes, with one touching 5.2 magnitude, has rekindled the painful memories of the 1956 earthquake, which resulted in a tsunami. 54 people lost their lives and entire villages were reduced to rubble. Currently, the Greek Prime Minister has urged for calm, while authorities have ramped up relief measures by setting up tents in basketball courts and sending push alerts on mobile phones, asking people to stay away from areas susceptible to rock slides. For now, scientists have ruled out a repeat of the 1956 earthquake, and seismologists emphasize that the earthquake in the island are the result of tectonic shift and not volcanic movement. Experts say they're seeing many earthquakes within a relatively small area, which don't fit the pattern of a main shock aftershock sequence. Unfortunately, seismologists are not sure till when will these quakes last. Authorities have warned that it could go on for weeks.
All right, so they had 8,000 earthquakes in a week, right? That's not normal, right? Something's happening, so you see everybody evacuate. But they say earthquakes don't make different places, right? But if you don't know about earthquakes, when earthquakes happen, boom, something else is gonna happen. Depending on what's next to it. You got tsunamis, and they got a volcano. So they say the volcano made the islands. Well, I guess it's about to destroy them too, right? And then the tsunami coming. That's how you get the island, because they'll form and everything can be settled out from the water cooling off the the hot fire or whatever.
There's some things I don't understand about people. If you're living in a hostile environment,
Mm-hmm.
where you're on Hurricane Alley, Storm Alley, the fault over the line,
Yeah.
and all these things keep happening, why you keep building back there?
Because it's the weather, man. The weather be so like California. The weather so I was talking about like California. It's so nice, man. Every day is summertime. They can't beat it. I agree with you though.
I think it's cheap in how it's culture.
I agree with you though. If it's a place where it's constantly having disasters or something, I'm not gonna be there. But when you talk to somebody, yeah, I would visit. Even still, I'd be like, I used to live in California, but just like they will always tell you because of the weather. You know, don't got to worry about not buying shorts. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Because like I used to live in Miami and I had a jacket. I'm from up north, so it was raining. I had a jacket. They always laughing at me. What you laughing at? But I don't know the weather. So it rains like every day in Miami, like every day. It may rain for 20 minutes, maybe for an hour every day, but it's so humid. Like you ever seen it like rain all day, right? You be outside and rain all day, and you go outside, the ground like wet and moist. It's not like that in Miami. You come on the next day, it's bone dry. Everything it's like the desert. So they was laughing at me because I had a jacket. They might have an umbrella here or there, but when you go to the store, they don't sell big coats because that's just the weather. And people choose that because it's the better life. But I was like, but all that can be gone, bro, from a hurricane or earthquake.
One day you wake up and your whole house is gone. Your car's in the mud. Okay, so I have to wear a jacket.
Yeah, so I don't get it, but I mean, I'm glad and blessed to be living in DC. You know, we didn't see a little bit of everything, but it ain't too crazy. You know, so like, oh, the hurricanes, this bad storm, earthquake, yeah, ground rock, but just let me tell you something. The first day of earthquakes, I'm gone. Hey, I'm swimming off the island. I gotta get out of here. No way. That's a lot of earthquakes.
Oh, you know we had a couple of earthquakes here.
Yeah, but it ain't like that. Yeah, it's not like that. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen soon. But just like you said, when you have that many, me and my brother watching a movie, when you have like an earthquake, so everybody know earthquake coming, they still stay on the island. Like, bro, it's a volcano top of the hill. We need to go. I don't understand it. All right, so this is talking more about like I said, the things that's going to happen in the future. So this is second Esdras. This is chapter 15.
Hey, bro, there's 320 earthquakes in a day.
Yes, lot, bro.
That
They was going through it, bro. You ain't see the plane to the line, like the line to the plane. We gotta get out of here. They ain't got no planes. All right, so this second.
Before you go,
Hmm?
Santorini. Isn't that where
Not a lullaby.
I forget? Was it Santorini where they had all the people covered in the volcano dirt and stuff from the volcano, and they had the whole city.
Pompeii.
Like Pompeii,
Yeah, it's near all that. Yeah, it's like the over there by Island of Greece is near all. Like I said, I don't get it. Like they volcano. I'm not going over here. Like I didn't know. Like Yellowstone is just like a bunch of like volcanoes.
No,
like that.
Yellowstone's the biggest.
Yeah, so
volcano.
it's literally a volcano waiting to blow up, and then they've created like the nuclear plants, and it goes along this line. So I say, yo, if the nuclear plant get an earthquake, this goes off. This whole thing coming down. Who would build this right here? That's just not by, that's gotta be by design. So this is second Esdras chapter 15, verses 15 through 27.
For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For they shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Behold, saith God, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanus, to turn themselves against one another and repay the things that they have done to them. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also, in recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Lord. My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and hath consumed the foundations of the earth and the sinners, like the straw that is kindled. Woe to them that sin, and keepeth not my commandments, saith the Lord. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power, defile not my sanctuary. For the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them, for God shall not deliver you because ye have sinned against him.
All right, so it's talking about all the stuff that's going to be happening, right? Like it says, a man should not go into a city, not be able to. So eventually, you're going to not going to be able to get into certain places, right? This is why you got, I don't know if you've seen what's called a new ID, or they got like the star and all that stuff on your driver's license. But all these are about to become restrictions. So they're trying to keep people, what they call it, the future cities. We talk about the 15-minute cities. Yeah, they starting to do all that. That's that LA. Remember LA getting burnt up? They about to create the I guess they call it the tech city. Yeah. So that our robots starting over there. All right. So and then all these places got those stores like that, like the Amazon Go store and all that. So what they're going to start doing is trying to keep people isolated in certain areas because you need control. If I could just keep going how I want to, then it is going to be a little problem. But all the things about the control. So when you see where somehow Canada fight America, it's not really about them fighting. It's a border control situation because in order for everybody to be good, we gotta keep them trapped in. For example, remember when they were talking about Big Trump daddy building a wall? Oh yeah, it's not gonna stop them. People always talk about people coming in. You ever thought that the wall might be for you not getting out? See, people don't look at it that way. They just think it's, oh yeah, we gotta start them from. They coming in through trucks. They're like, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like a truck of 800 of them.
That's what they say about the Great Wall of China.
Yeah.
They say the Great Wall of China, how defensive this is not looking out of China, it's looking into China.
It's looking, yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So it's the people always look at it from one side, but you should look at it from both. Like you think the wall keeping somebody out, but it could be keeping you in because, like I said, besides that wall, And then Canada got like they little wall situation. They got like fences that run through the lines, like whether it's barbed wire or stuff like that. You can't go nowhere unless you swimming. You know what I'm saying? You're a great swimmer. I guess you got a boat or something. You can go somewhere besides that. But these are two places you can exit to. So it's not really so much about controlling people from coming in. It's about, hey, we need to control it if something was going wrong so y'all can stay in. Not coming from somebody come from outside about staying in, because that's how you shut everything down. It's like a lockdown. You can't go out. We control who go in. And then you watch movies and stuff like The Last of Us, all these things. They got government checkpoints and stuff they got to go through. It's a shutdown thing. Because this is the thing. My friend was one of the people that was watching the people who come across the border, right? He was watching, he sleep, right? He's part of the problem. He said he wake up, just see like 8 Mexicans just walking across, right? And like he caught him or whatever, he told him on. But just think about that. If y'all really wanted them to come over, it's ways to stop it, but you're not really choosing that because they also cause the chaos and the havoc and things like that, right? So I'm gonna show y'all a couple more videos. I think yep, there we go. All right, go ahead. Huh? So this is 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, verse 17 through 24. It says, woe is me, who would deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, excuse me. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourge. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast on his dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. So ain't gonna nobody be all cutting grass stuff no more. And you'll see like a lot of these apocalyptic movies. It looks really crazy. It's just like nobody cut the grass for years. You ever seen I Am Legend? He walking through fields. That's like the street. Like that ain't no crop field. That's just like that was like a street down in the city or whatever, right? And it's talking about how the goods will be cheap on earth. I'm not gonna lie, since Trump been in office, things have been changing. Like, you know, I think the gas prices ain't going crazy, even though I don't like gas because like one day it's $2.90, next day it's like $3.50, then next day it's $2.70. I don't like that they can change that like that. But a lot of things gonna start coming down, right? Start being available. But it's like a lowering thing. And, oh yeah, we back on top. We good. It's like COVID, right? When COVID happened, everybody was going crazy for it. Oh, what's going on? And they start going down, you back on the streets. Oh man, I forget that it even happened. I'm not even going to lie. That what 5 years ago? I forget that it happened because once everybody started coming back, everything seemed normal, right? And I don't see people wearing masks too often, but I know they do, or whatever the case may be, which is still weird to me. But apparently, they still have this virus going out. Some people tell me they had it. Somebody the other day in my job said they had it. I was like, that's crazy. I wouldn't really get tested. I was like, I'm just sick. I got a flu. I'm not coming to work. But they will get tested, and then they want you to take a shot and stuff like that, right? So everything's going to look good, but then, like I said, it turns around and looks bad. So I believe this is some natural disasters that's been happening recently. I think this is a flood. Could be wrong. Could be wrong.
Brisbane, Australia.
Oh, yeah.
March
March 9th.
2025.
That's recent. Australia had the fish too. That was one of the videos in the fish. Australia had the fish. God don't like Australia, I guess. They can go back too.
Look, your boy, so it probably is.
Super cool.
The impact of Cyclone Alfred continues to wreak havoc in many parts of Queensland's Australia. An entire Queensland town has been totally blocked off by raging floodwaters in the wake of ex-tropical cyclone Alfred. as the John Graded system continues to wreak havoc across the East Coast. Rivers and creeks are flooding in southeast Queensland after days of torrential rain, and residents are bracing for the situations to deteriorate. There has been a string of rescues as flash flooding took some residents by surprise. Okay, this is a big massive tree.
I don't like how I even throw the video. I put it all the way to 24.
On Sunday, Haverankas flash flooding in parts of Brisbane, inundating homes on Bandurang streets and Winong roads in Tindalpong, swamping cars in Newmarket and Stones Corner, inundating garages in Nanda and surrounding businesses in Carina. Flood and weather's alert are also in place from the Sunshine Coast right down to the New South Wales border and to the west of Brisbane.
Sure, people side by side.
Brisbane, which has now flooded badly 4 times in 15 years, impacts from flooding have been mostly concentrated about suburban streets rather than the Brisbane River. More than 100 roads were closed, with low-lying areas in Windsor some of the first to go under. The coast at Morningside on the city's south side was evacuated after its car park flooded. Wollongabba, Corparo, Carina, Carindale, Ringslands, Oxley, and Prinsloops have also been affected. Many residents say the flooding this time was similar to that in 2022, when the city's tributaries overflowed.
I'm not gonna work. He said, I know how you gotta go to work.
Rain.
Yeah.
Inojera Dam, which feed the Inojera Breakfast Creek catchment running through the Brisbane northern suburbs, was at 240% capacity on Monday and water flowing above the spillway. Downstream water levels peak about midnight, but authorities are watching closely to see if the tides spike again. State Emergency Services rescue teams have spent most of Monday morning searching through dozens of cars, many to test the water peak overnight, checking to ensure no one is inside. Thousands of people living near rivers and creeks in southeast Queensland have also been warned to seek shelters or find high ground, amid concern about more flash flooding in the aftermath of ex-tropical cyclone Alfred. More than 230,000 households and businesses are still without power as Haveran continued on Sunday night and into Monday morning.
Been like that. Just go find another job. Like,
You can open that bottle. They ain't got no power.
like your police is paying them to you got a birthday and you don't got one of those.
Might have a house.
Emergency alerts have been issued for rivers and creek catchment in the Brisbane, Gold Coast, Logan, Ipswich, and Latymer Valley areas. Some people have been advised to move to higher ground or to seek shelters, and that water levels could rise quickly. The alerts relate to the Inojera, Oxley, and Goverley creeks in Brisbane, the Upper Oxley Creek and Albert River in Logan, the Albert and Logan Rivers, Tallybudgera Creek, and Grounding Creek on the Gold
Chris
Coast.
about bang, baby.
All right, so this is gonna show y'all. I keep showing y'all all these crazy disasters. So I don't know if you heard. They said they got no power neither, and they had it in a week. So that's not good. Like I said, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. He said, "What?" He was like, "What we gonna do? Like go like a new job?" I said, "A job? I'm gonna open my Bible because I know what I can do at this point. I can't go outside because you see the guy out there with the phone just recording. That was kind of crazy. But like everything shut down. Like you know what I'm saying. So most of the city, if not, it shut down." And people like, what will you do? But I'm saying this is the type of things that you're not ready for, right? Like people that's in these countries, Australia is basically an island, right? And I tell you all the time, if the water decide to rise up, what you gonna do? Yeah, you're not prepared for it. The city not really built for it, right? Because some places like when you go to Florida, they build with the stilts in case of the floods. They don't have no basements, right? But I was like, yeah, when the hurricane comes through, though, I'm just going to destroy that anyway. Chicago got a lot of wind. And they got the buildings built on springs. California, they really can't get about earthquakes. It just is what it is, right? But they don't care, right? But when this stuff is happening, like I said, he asked me like, "What do you do?" Hey man, you need to get away because clearly it was some spots that wasn't as flooded, right? So it's like, all right, what we do, I'm telling y'all should do through God. It's like I said, be with God because when you with God, He'll tell you. Like literally, this came about, right? It was crazy because you had sent me the video. I said, yeah, God, I don't know what to do. I'm supposed to tell him about. He was like, yo, tell him stop depending on technology. That's what I heard. Sometimes because that's what we really depend on. Like, don't get it twisted. I love all this stuff. The iPad is cool. It is cool. But just think about how much technology we really depend on. Like I said, without power, I don't know what they're going to do. Because you can't go outside. Power is one thing, right? But now it's raining. You in a bad situation because you can't even go outside and try to make do to go get fruit and nothing because you just like I said, you're stuck in a situation where everything around you is crumbling, but you know what you're doing. You done gave all the power to the government. I tell you all the time, some road that the government ain't the strong part. We are, but we give them the power. They make these rules up. We do this, do this, and then 10 years later, what's going on? Remember, back in 1999 when you signed this, we signed that. Don't even know because like I said, you giving them all the power. We're supposed to take the power away from them because we are the people. If we all decide not to go to work or something like that, who gonna run Pepco? Who gonna run the water company? Nobody. Somebody got to run. They're not running it. You know what I'm saying? It's only 1,000 compared to millions and billions of people, right? So this is more disasters that was happening last year. That man house was moving.
2024 was a year of high frequency, high diversity, and a lot of impacts from these weather and climate extremes. Helene was the most catastrophic. The impacts that created from when it made landfall at the coast and came all the way through the Carolinas into western North Carolina were quite extreme. And some attribution studies have shown that perhaps Helene was strengthened by a warmer Gulf that helped it become a very large storm and had a lot of potency to it. Hurricanes Helene and Hurricane Milton in particular. Both of those hurricanes combined will be about $100 billion together.
Yo, look! There's no way.
We need financial assistance from the government, FEMA, wherever.
Southeast Texas feeling the brunt of Hurricane Beryl now. The rain has been coming down for hours and the wind's definitely picking up too. Take a look up at the palm trees as they're getting whipped around. The strongest gusts that we have felt here in Galveston, near 70 miles per hour.
Yeah. It's tripping.
Are we watching the tornado from right there? Oh my gosh! Ah! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Hit that gas. She kind of walked it in. That's what happened.
Out.
80 tornado, really.
But if you actually look at kind of the number of natural storms that exceed $1 billion, there are actually more tornadoes, floods, severe winter storms, particularly in the Midwest, that don't necessarily have all of the media attention or don't rise to the tens of billions of dollars that a hurricane or a tropical cyclone might.
Right. Yeah, show you.
A wildfire event that was $1 billion impact in New Mexico during the summer.
I think it's the funny one.
Southern California got slammed by heavy rain, flooding, and a tornado Thursday. A rescue helicopter helped save this man from a raging creek that slammed his car up against trees in Orange County.
That water supply that went out, y'all.
Mudslides trapped people in their cars in San Jacinto. 6 people were rescued and treated at the scene. And this damage was caused by a rare tornado in Pico Rivera in LA County. Touching down just after 3 a.m., the EF-0 snapped trees and damaged cars and homes, but no injuries were reported.
That literally just happened like last week or so in California.
And why had to wait for a whole week to put out, so they could wouldn't put out the rain? Come on. 2 weeks ago.
And I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny because they just had fire.
That's
like,
right.
yeah, and down the rain. Like to me, that's not a coincidence. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's happening, you know what I'm saying, by design for all that water to come. Like, you ain't had no water. We can't find no water nowhere. Now we getting too much water.
Right. Everything is burned down.
All right, so
this is somebody.
So this is talking about nations against nations and stuff, right? About how all these things about to start happening in war. I don't know if y'all seen this, but this is Colorado. This is supposed to be the immigrants that illegal that Trump was trying to warn everybody about, and they was taking over apartment buildings. Not a door, but like buildings. Like where's the landlord at? Was he called the cops, bro?
And new at 10, it's scenes coming out of a movie as the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua are seen breaking into apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado. This is according to our sister station in Denver. There you can see the group well armed and forcing an apartment door open and making their way in. This has raised concerns amongst residents and Colorado state law enforcement officials. The city of Aurora is issuing a statement today in the wake of national attention following the video's release. As we've reported in the past, Tren de Aragua is one of the fastest growing transnational criminal organizations from Venezuela. According to FBI officials, the gang has now infiltrated its way into the United States through various sectors of the U.S.-Mexico border.
No, the only thing I have a problem with that is the fact that you got all these gangster brothers.
Oh yeah, that's what this video about. This what this video is right here.
Yeah, they got all these gangster brothers, and all of a sudden they're asking the government for help. Wait a minute.
So this one,
y'all can shoot each other.
so this one is about the immigrants that's in Chicago. You know, Chicago was like the gang city, right? Check this out. This is crazy.
America has allowed gangs to enter our country.
The migrants that are coming, they're taking over every block right now.
The city of Chicago is gonna go up in smoke, it's gonna go up in flames.
Gangs in Chicago.
But y'all been shooting each other. Shoot them.
That's right.
I don't get it. It makes sense.
They say money that should be going to the African American community on the South Side is instead going to what they call non-citizens, and warn that turf wars between Chicago's gangs and groups like Venezuela's Tren de Aragua could see Chicago, quote, go up in flames. Photographer Matt McDermott and I traveled to Chicago's South Side to see what was happening for ourselves after we heard about a police report last month that the Tren de Aragua gang had taken over an office building there. We spoke to a number of young, hardcore gang members, as well as gang elders who have retired from the life, and just regular citizens who are very much part of the community. And they're all furious at the estimated $500 million that's reportedly been funneled toward new migrants in Chicago since 2022. And they aren't happy either about what they say are Venezuelan criminal gangs that are leaving the shelters and spilling out into the South Side into abandoned buildings.
I spoke to Tyrone Muhammad of Ex-Cons for Trump, who runs a street patrol and violence prevention program. He's gone straight since his days as an enforcer for the Gangster Disciples. And he said the situation is very tense on the South Side as turf battles between the local gangs and Venezuelan migrants heat up.
It is impossible to release gang members and criminals into our country through the borders and broken walls, and then infiltrate them in our community that's already impoverished, that's already broken, that's already disinvested. And when the black gangs, the leadership in the black gangs in Chicago get fed up with the illegalities and the criminal activity of these migrants or non-citizens, the city of Chicago is going to go up in smoke, it's going to go up in flame, and it's going to be nothing that the National Guard or our government can do about it when the bloodshed hit the streets, blacks against migrants.
Zach Massey did time in state prison with Tyrone Muhammad, although he's only 27. He's a leader on the streets and said he's disgusted by the money going to Venezuelan migrants at the expense, he says, of the African-American community.
When I finally actually talked to him on the translator app, and he told me all the things that he got going on, how they help him get a car, apartment, clothes, rent. So it's just like, I just be looking at it like, they ain't got no social security number. Where they come from? He probably not even here legally.
They get right here, they get quick housing, quick funding, food. They get cars with no license. They can't even read English and stuff like that. So they get all these folks when they get here, and they still get
Corey Rogers was a Blackstone gang member for years. He drove us around the South Side and showed us areas where he said Trendo and Wagwa and other criminal gangs are setting up shop and what he called showing the flag, which means brandishing their weapons in front of like a housing project.
The migrants that are coming in taking over every block right now in this area. Right now, you don't see them because they come out at night. They said they took this courtway over probably about last week. He said there was 100 Venezuelans standing out in the front right here.
Is it an abandoned building? How did they just take it over?
They just, when you take over something, you just stand outside and that's called showing the flag.
What kind of guns do they have?
Semi-automatics, anything you name, you're gonna see it on the street. These boys got so many big guns that if they're 150 pounds, the gun is bigger than them. I swear.
But they know how to handle it, right? They know what. Tell me about the fact that they're criminals, right? This is a criminal element. These aren't just a bunch of Venezuelans that walked over the border and used to be gardeners back home, right?
Right. They come from the gangland. They come from rougher gangs than us.
One gang member who only gave his name as David on a particularly dangerous drug dealing corner on the South Side did not hold back when he talked about the influx of criminal gangs from other countries into Chicago.
The real issue is that America has allowed gangs to enter our country. Gangs that they would consider terrorist groups that are formed here. We're terrorist groups and we're in the gang. They get terrorists in our country.
The Reverend Corey Brooks also said to me he's disgusted with Democratic policies and said that Black Lives Matter, for example, has never reached out to help him or anyone else trying to improve conditions on the South Side.
Chicago is a blue.
All right. So that video is pretty long. It's like almost 30 minutes. But I wanted to show y'all that, like I said, for a couple of reasons. One, I don't know why they're not fighting back. Y'all been killing each other this whole time. Go ahead and fight back, right? That's number one. Number two, I do agree with what they were saying. They're not regular migrants. They probably like military trained, like, America be funding ISIS and stuff. So they do make people like that, right? So I totally get that on that side. But the third reason why I really showed it to you, because I was talking to it by one of my brothers, and he was like, it's time to get war suited up. It's actually not. They got nothing to do with me, right? Because this is what y'all allow. Like I said, it's crazy how y'all doing all this illegal stuff. That was a gang member speaking at the end. You doing all illegal stuff. Now somebody doing it to you, it's a problem. It makes no sense to me. So if even though, what I'm saying, we the same skin folk, there's no reason for me to join that. It doesn't make sense. Y'all talk about all these drill music and stuff. There's no point in me to participate and act like that to try to save something. Like y'all can say y'all got the big guns too. Y'all be talking about it, not saying about it. So it's like now, saying do that. But like I said, it's a war. And what that do is it pull your heartstrings. Oh, that's my people, I gotta stand. Don't stand with that.
Because they're bigger punks than they want to let out.
Yeah,
That's what it boils down to. Y'all a bunch of punks. That's all I can say.
Don't stand with that, right? And that's what all these causes be, whether it's like a BLM or when they was doing the little riots for George Floyd. Don't give into that. Because like I said, that's all it is for us to have more division, more war, more fights, and more problems. All right. So this is the rest of second Esdras 16 through 48.
Listen, when I first heard that, that pissed me off.
Yeah, I talked about that a month ago. My brother was like, "Yeah, you ain't ready to fight." I was like, "What are we fighting about? I can't do nothing about it." Like this whole, it's crazy, right? The migrants only appear up in Southside Chicago. If you don't know about Chicago, that is where humbly most of the blacks are in Chicago. Nowhere else, but it's on the South Side. Like I said, how ironic is that? Like it's just weird. Y'all ain't show up in like we on Wisconsin Avenue. You ain't show up there. Go show up somewhere where they at. Nah, you gonna show up where it's supposed to be, because if y'all don't know, the history of Chicago is really meant to be a war city. That's why they don't. That's why they get all these guns. That's why they let all the gangs and all the violence. Because all this could really be ended like easy. You got the military power, you got all this stuff, but they don't do it. But every city got I guess you would say, a role in the destruction. So whether it's city, whether it's California, whether it's LA, all these, LA, Chicago, New York, DC, like everybody has a role. And Chicago's is basically this war. Like some stupid, crazy war. They didn't have like the NATO people come out there. Not an army, not military, not police. NATO. Those are the world police. What y'all doing in Chicago? The regular Chicago people can't take care of this? Yeah, so Chicago's off the chain. Chirac. Yep, that's what they called it.
Chirac.
Yep, Chirac.
Alrighty. Like as an arrow which is.
Oh, what you reading?
Second Esdras 16:16.
27. We passed that already. I read that.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
So that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks. As in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so, in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that searcheth their houses with the sword. And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish in famine. Hear now these things, and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son within 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. He that selleth, let him buy as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise, as he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwelleth therein. He that soweth as if he should not reap, so also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry as they shall get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. And therefore they that laboreth in vain. For strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses and take their children captives. For in captivity and famine shall they get children. And they that occupy their merchandise with robbery, the more they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions, and their own persons, the more will I be angry with them for their sin, saith the Lord.
So they say they're gonna get taken over the throne. You saw they was taking over the apartments, right? And you know, people, everybody talking about they want land and houses. That's all cool and all that, right? But at the same time, you also got to prepare for the wilderness, the exodus, because you're gonna have to leave. Because what happens is, let's say you do have a house and the power stuff will go out. Are you gonna sit here and just try to protect your house all day? If you do go away, people going to salvage it. Just like on The Walking Dead and all these other shows, that's what they do. They go around salvaging things because everything gonna shut down. I tell people all the time, right? So let's say the power went out and the power come back on, or let's just say there's a food, quote unquote, food shortage. What's gonna happen? All the food you got in the house, that's gone. So if you all go out, go to the grocery store, take all that food, right? All that's gone. Well, ain't nobody working. So where that food will come from? Well, Drake still got his food in his house. Drake still got his food in his house. We gonna go up in their house and get that. And this is where all the violence is gonna kick up, right? Even more because now you gotta protect what's going on. But we ain't supposed to be doing that. When you did the Feast of Tabernacles, you supposed to go in the woods. You have to prepare to live in a tent, right? This is what God's preparing you for, to be outside of these things. Like it's not always just doing tabernacles because it's a tradition. No, they was in the wilderness. They wasn't home no more. They was going to a home, right? So you gotta be content with living in the woods. You gotta be content with living in the tent. You gotta be content with just maybe only eating bread for a period of time, right? Not saying God won't provide for you, feed you, but this is the way. Because when you stay stationary, like we all like know on video games, they call it camping. You gonna get killed easy because you easy to find. You're in the same place all the time. But we keep moving constantly. God will protect you. If you're not worried about so many things like far as rationing of food, that's why I'm gonna tell you I fast sometimes, because sometimes you might not have no food and God wants you to go a day or two without it, right? Not that He couldn't give it to you, but one, it's a form of trust, and two, there may not be food along the way on the journey. And when I say that, I got this book, right? I got from a friend. It's called National Audubon Society, and it got like all the plants and trees and stuff, right? I know everybody can't see it, but I'll pass it around. It tell you what all the trees can do, the health benefits. It show you what fruits to get. It show you like poison fruits, all this stuff in it, right? I used to be a kid. I used to be like eating little berries off of trees and bushes. I probably could be eating poison this whole time, but I don't know. But now I got this book. I know that this tree is a tree that got three clovers on it, or three sprout leaves, or this one's brown, this one's red. 'Cause I didn't know all the trees are the same, whether it's a maple tree and stuff like that. Like I didn't know Buckeyes was poison. Found that out reading this book. All right, no Buckeyes. No. Yeah, yep. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I just started reading the book. Like my friend gave it to me a long time ago because he was showing this white guy. He was about survival. What he was doing. He was saying some real things. Like you got a dog. A dog is cool, but you got to feed the dog, right? He said, "Well, you got a dog. He not gonna have no dog. He gonna kill your dog. That's food to him." Now I'm not eating no dog, but just think about that. Somebody gonna eat that dog. Yeah, yeah. Because like I said, when you in survival mode, everything gonna change. Yeah, I watched Naked and Afraid, even though I know it got some type of, help along the way to that camera and stuff like that. But just seeing somebody in there like, oh, I don't kill animals. I'm like, but you starving though. So you gonna have to start eating animals today. Cause that little fig, whatever you eat, it ain't gonna be good up. Then you might not get it. But then like I said, they was fighting against like monkeys. What's gonna happen when you fight against people and stuff like that that's being salvaged and things like that, right? So it changes the whole dynamic. It also talked about right here when it said no man one man shall desire to see another and hear his voice, because like I said, it's gonna be so much going on, right? You don't have a car no more. You can't just go like The Walking Dead. You notice that it's always like a giant gap between they find like another people, right? Because everybody in one location, that's the best location, and everything in between, they don't really have no real survival skills, right? So everybody just banking on something. And that's one thing about a church. You ask what you do, everybody has survival skills. So for instance, my brother, certified EMT. You know what I'm saying? Tourniquets, all they can do it. Like, saying, that's what you need. My little brother right there, that's a fisherman extraordinaire. I can't fish, but I'm like, I know you can. What you need, right? You know what I'm saying? So everybody in the church, that's how a church supposed to be. Some people play the roles. People can make clothes. You know what I'm saying? Some people can cook better. Everybody should have a role. Right, and that's how you really get to know your church. Like I said, it's like a family. Everybody got a role. You can do this or you can do that. I got friends, like one of my friends, we call him a guy, but he make anything. You know what I'm saying? Out of nothing. Taking trees, doing it, like he made this out of that. Like he was the first person I know that had like a speaker, like a giant like stage speaker in his car, had it plugged up like a regular outlet. I'm like, how you even do this? Who does this, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like just think about that type of stuff, because you're gonna need it when you out and about. Everybody don't know how to build, everybody don't know how to, like I said, cook. Some, you know what I'm saying? Some girls nowadays don't know how to do hair. Like people don't have no talents because, like I said, all that stuff is taken from you. You ain't got no talent. You can speak to the remote now. TV, turn to channel 2. You ain't gotta do nothing. You don't gotta know numbers, right? You can just do whatever because everything is being processed for you. Eventually, when the robots come in, they gonna do it for you. I've been seeing the restaurants where the robots is like giving people their food. You ain't gotta tip the robot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it come into it already. Yeah, so it's already included to the tip. But that's the crazy part, right? So just count it in, and I'm paying a robot. I'm paying for it. They'll probably say, "Well, this for maintenance and stuff like that." I totally disagree. But this is a video about you haven't seen this is
Yes, I'm legend.
what's it? I Am Legend, right? Yeah. So this is how it's gonna be though. He's so bored because he don't know nobody alive. This man created a community with mannequins, which is crazy. It's actually a sad movie when I look at it. You like this movie? For real? He got that dog though. And I was talking about nobody to till the earth and all that. That's crazy. The street got grass in it. I ain't know the street can go grass.
Now that looks like that except it's too. I wonder if we could go around there, just find abandoned towns. Like,
Well, you can.
I feel like
It's gonna look like that. Yeah, some grass.
Fred, you guys got here so early.
Fred wanted to have him killed.
Nice sweatshirt there, Fred. Don't get around anywhere.
oh, that's crazy.
They never gonna do
See you guys inside.
I ain't been talking to the mannequins.
Yeah, he been out there for years, man. 2 years, something like that. I mean, that man made a community just so he can feel sane. Now, clearly, if you haven't never seen this movie, I'm gonna skip this part. If you never seen this movie, clearly he's made a community, right? But it's not necessarily because he's stupid or psycho. He just wants some type of being normal. There's nobody to talk to. And like I said, for everybody, it's not gonna be like that. But for a lot of people, it's gonna be like that. When you're not near nobody, your family done died, you're gonna create something, right? And it was talking about somebody would hear a voice. So when I seen this part, because I don't even remember this part in the movie, but when I seen this yesterday, I was like, this is interesting. This man actually cried because nothing, the mannequin ain't really speaking to him. He just realized, like, you know what, I can't do this no more, bro. Like, that's sad. I mean, he put the movie back like he really written it. Like, you can take whatever you want, bro. Ain't nobody here. What you
The
think?
problem with that, is all these mannequins are white. White, what happened to the black people?
Black man gets shiny. It gives him something to do though to come back to the store.
But yeah, but this was this part. He's literally losing his sanity.
You need people to talk to. Trust me, I know.
And he ain't talking about a long time. Like on this jump, like years.
6 months, boy.
Yeah, look at you. Look, see, it's 6 months. That man been here 30 years.
This not vampires. That's right. They using the little
The little alien garage. Yeah, they was on
And that's not coming from him wanting to talk to the mannequin like that. It's because he has nobody to talk to. And he finally broke. And that's what the scripture was just talking about, right? So we pilgrims. You want to know how to live? We gotta be like pilgrims. I thought a pilgrim was the settlers that came over here and settled the country. That's not what a pilgrim is. A pilgrim, by definition, is somebody who's going to a place to place with no home off religious acts. So technically, Christians is pilgrims. I didn't know that. The definition that we would know of pilgrims is like the 5th last definition of pilgrims. But this is how this is one of, like I said, the way they confuse you. They give you all these different names and does the world mean this or this mean that, this mean that, but not realizing a pilgrim is a biblical term, right? So this is 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 11 and 12.
Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts which war against the soul, having your conversation honest among the Gentiles, that Whereas they speak against you as evildoers, they may by your good works, which they shall behold, glorify God in the day of visitation.
So it's telling you still be honest in your conversation, still do your good works, even when you're amongst people that's strangers or Gentiles, right? For the simple fact that you still gotta be yourself in God, but it's a reason why. Because when people get persecuted and stuff, you leave. Like he was talking about the hurricanes. All that I showed y'all them hurricanes on there, I was like, most of that was in Florida. So you went the whole year to get hit by Florida hurricane, hurricane. I was like, we still here. We can't wait to see the Dolphins play. I'm gone. I was in Miami, that's Miami for 6 months. I was like, I don't know how y'all do it. I really don't. And they was like, we know when the hurricane's coming, so it's okay. We can prepare for it. But I was like, yeah, as much as you can prepare, you can't protect your house. You can't protect the stores and stuff. So when you come back, let's say you do come back, you got a place up here, or you go with your family, you come back, there's nothing left. Right? And like I said, don't always look on the news. There's a girl at my job who went down to the FEMA situation when they was doing that. So I don't know if y'all heard about it. They was only giving people $750. She said that's not true. She said $750. That part is true. That's almost like the money for you to just like, hey, hold off for a second. Yeah, just get out. But they said when you signed up for stuff, because she was the one that was doing the things, they will give you money back to reimburse the house. Like I said, that's another incentive, right? You know this is a bad place to be in, right? Okay, I'll take the money. I'm gonna take the money and move. They'll take the money and rebuild the house. I'm like, yeah, but when it get destroyed again? Because now you banking on the government always being there for you. But then one time it's gonna shut down, you're not there no more.
But I thought FEMA said at one point with all those hurricanes that was happening, Hurricane Alley that was destroying the people like every year it seemed like.
Mm-hmm.
I thought FEMA came with a new rule that says, we'll do this once. Now, if you want to stay here, the next one is on you.
Yeah, that she said that certain parts it was like that. She said because it's all different. Because she said she was working. I forgot what part of Florida she said she was working in, but she was like how how like North Carolina was getting hit. She said that's a little different. Like everybody's situation different because they were near the mountains and they said apparently they told them this was coming and they was like we trying to get y'all to get this money because I guess they wanted to mine the mountains and it was like nah y'all can't mine them because we live here, whatever. Oh, okay. Here comes the hurricane. Boom. Well, I guess you're gonna go now. So you could have got money and got away, but now you didn't. They sent a hurricane out there.
But that was the whole thing behind the hurricane. I mean, truly, that was the whole thing behind the hurricane. They wanted those minerals in that mountain.
Yeah.
So they figured they'd get wipe the people out because people say that the government can produce hurricanes.
Yeah, it's a machine.
Yeah, like that.
It's supposed to stop them, but if you reverse the way the machine go, it create them. Yeah.
Right, but they wanted those minerals in that mine, so that's why.
Yeah, and they tried to buy them out, and they said no. So they're like, okay, cool, don't worry about it. we gonna get this mineral one way or another. So now you in trouble because you ain't got no no mountain, no home, no nothing, and no money. Yeah. All right. So this is Hebrews chapter 11, 13 through 16.
These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them from afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country that is and heavenly. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared for them a city.
All right, so it's talking about people like I said, you're in a place and you taking it for granted, or whatever, and then it gets destroyed, so you go to the next place, right? But that's what you should do. Don't worry about the stuff. Like I said, the merchandise, all that stuff, because this stuff not gonna matter. My iPads, when it's time to go, hey, if it's somebody wanting for some money, hey, you want this? Got you some food? Hey, here you go, right? But people will hold on to these things. I've seen people get shot over coats. It's a jacket, bro. Let it go. We'll get you another jacket. But just think about that. People they're gonna hold on to a lot of things. Now, certainly I will tell you that you might want to hold on to the remember the gold dollars I gave y'all. That's something because it could be a trade in currency because people would take it. Gold and silver, precious metals, stuff like that. People would take those things, right? But like if you got like some shoes, and you already got shoes on you, get rid of the shoes, bro. Because that somebody might trade you the shoes for something. Okay, because like I said, during this all this catastrophe, that's what's going to happen. I'm gonna trade you for this, trade you for that. Ain't gonna be no money for real, right? But people can use gold and you can use silver and you can use some shoes and you might be able to use the blanket. I'm gonna trade you a couple of lighters for this, right? Now, I'm not telling you to do it to everybody, but those are the things that is going to start coming about like I used to be. It's a trade for a trade. It's not so much a money basis because, I mean, where the money going to be at? And the ones who probably do have money ain't going to be where you at, your situation. They're going to be one of those little isolated cities like off Hunger Games, isolated city. Ain't nobody in here. We got curfews. We all living good, eating fruit, XYZ. Then the other cities is probably poor, struggling, and waiting for the rebellion, right? And that's basically what's going to happen. So this is Matthew 10:16 and verses 22 and 23, telling us how we should act amongst the people, right?
And ye shall be hated of all men for
Where you at?
10, 22, and 23.
16.
16.
Verse 16.
Oh,
Verse.
16. Gotcha. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves, but ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
Right, 22, 23.
And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. But when they persecute you in the city, flee ye into another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come.
All right, so it's clear to a city. You get persecuted, you leave. Ain't no point in staying, right? Even Christ did this. There's no point in staying. I'm going to read this one. It says, John 11:53 and 54. It says, Then from that day forth they took counsel together for to put him to death. Yeshua therefore walked no more openly among the Jews, but went thence unto a country near to the wilderness, into a city called Ephraim. And there continued with the disciples. So he was at some place, they about trying to kill him. You know what he did? I'm not going back. But you know, most people do. They go back because they feel like they got to fight. Nah, God telling you just run, bro, because they're going to kill you. It's not even a debate, right? But they want you out their town, which is cool. They always tell you go back home. So they just leave. It's cool because you don't really, like I said, the wilderness, the traveling, that's the part of people who survive unless you give it into the market of beast system. But everybody else in between who think they're going to fight and stand for it, it's a problem. People who are in the government, right? People that think about the government, we're going to be able to fight till the government. I'm like, I hear you. It's gonna take a lot for you to do that. Or you got people that think they're gonna change rules. They're not changing no rules. You know the type of work they put in to get this country. They ain't changing no rules. You gonna have to the way they got it. You gonna have to take it like that through blood. If you ain't taking it through blood, you ain't gonna get it right. You shouldn't worry about those things because if, like I said, if you focus and worried about those kind of things, it's not gonna get you nowhere. Like I said, if somebody talking bad about us, hey, them Christians, and they trying to burn our house down like doing the KKK and all that stuff. Hey, leave, bro. There's no point. What we stand for, we fight what you stand for because you feel like you don't deserve to leave. Hey, look, this ain't even our country. This ain't nobody because it's God's. Everything but him anyway. So we just leave. All right. So this is talking about citizenship. So like him, I'm gonna use his citizenship. He don't even know it. I'm gonna abuse it. Acts 22:25 through 29.
And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, Is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, Take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman. Then the chief captain came and said unto him, Tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, Yea. And the chief captain answered, With a great sum obtained I this freedom. And Paul said, But I was freeborn. Then straightway they departed from him, which should have examined him. And the chief captain also was afraid after he knew that he was a Roman, and because he had bound him.
So this is talking about your citizenship. You got citizenship somewhere, use it, right? Abuse it, right? Because you might need it. So him, we use his citizenship all the time because even though he's supposed to be Espanol, people be thinking that he, I guess, black, right? Come to work, everybody think he black, and the moment he speaks Spanish, they like, what? We went to this restaurant. We was at a restaurant with Randy and them, right? So we at the restaurant. So everybody is in there ordering in English or whatever. But the he saw that the lady, you know, she was a Spanish lady, she had like an attitude. So he said something to her, and it was like, all right, and then he started speaking Spanish. He said her whole demeanor changed. So it's like, yeah, you treated us a certain way because you ain't know that, but you ain't know he spoke Spanish. But now that I know that, they may not be good to us, right? But they'll you know what I'm saying, they'll be able to coexist with us a little bit just off the strength of that. So even though somebody may say that's a bad thing, like yeah, they could hate us, but we could use that for our benefit. Or with this, let's say you had somebody like my friend Randy, he's a Caucasian guy. Hey, you might be able to get us here, right? Don't take that as a negative because people, because this is reality. People look at their own people. I don't care what nobody say. Your first reaction like people. When I was in Virginia, all white people, right? I'll walk in Walmart. There's nobody in here with white people. I see a black dude. He like, what's up, cuz? What's up? Like he knows me. I don't know this man every day of my life, but I know what that means. He like, if anything pop off, I don't wish you my guy. So I'm like, hey, it's cool. So you got to use those things to your advantages, right? So like I said, I've been experienced with him like that, and even like I've had white friends that run around us, and I'm like, yeah, just follow my lead, because if you don't, you can step into dangerous territory. So there's nothing wrong with using your citizenship or anything about where you're from. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, so this is preparation. Oh, this guy right here. You got to see this video.
History is truly at a turning point. Global energy systems, food systems, and supply chains will be deeply affected. In times of crisis, the role of governments is more important and more relevant than ever. The profound challenges to mankind, such as climate change, are globally interconnected and require collaborative responses.
All right, so he's pretty ugly.
I've been thinking a lot about what we'll eat in 2025. It's a question that's plagued humanity for centuries. Back in 1925, some forward-thinking individuals predicted we'd face food shortages by 2025. But how accurate were they? Let's take a closer look at the factors shaping our food future. Climate change is wreaking havoc on global agriculture. Extreme weather events are becoming more frequent, causing crop failures and disrupting food production. Meanwhile, immigration policies are affecting the availability of agricultural labor. But what if I told you that despite these challenges, humanity is working tirelessly to ensure our plates remain full? Innovative farming techniques, vertical agriculture, and lab-grown meat are just a few examples of how we're adapting. While the road ahead is uncertain, human ingenuity continues to find ways to feed our growing population. The question remains, will it be enough to overcome the hurdles we face?
All right, so that's what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to change everything. I'm gonna read this one. They're trying to change everything to the point where they control. That's all it's about, control, right? You already said lab-grown meat. Like, what are you making meat from? Like, literally, we all know meat is the muscle of a animal where you get meat from. You're making lab-grown meat, right? But it's not about to poison you or nothing like that, because they can make it to the point where you're not sick. It's just about control. That's why they're against people farming. Like you said, the farming industry, they get all these rules. They're doing all these things so you can't do it. The hurricanes, it ain't really because it's destroy the houses, but it's some farms out there. Got to destroy those too. So you're trying to destroy everything until you turn around, you can control everything. All right, so this is the, let me see. All right, so this is talking about the time in Egypt with Joseph, right? And it says, behold, verses Genesis 41:29-36. It says, behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason that famine followeth, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the things is established by God, and God will surely bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the fifth part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And that food shall be for store in the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. Verse 39 says, and Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. So Pharaoh is all in because he believed that God showed this to Joseph, right? So verses 46-49, it says, and Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth by handfuls. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities, the food of the field, which is round about every city. lay he up in the same. As Joseph gathered corn in the sand of the sea, very much until he left numbering, for it was without number. So this is the thing. He was grabbing all this grain. Another reason why I say the grain is important because it's light. It's not really heavy. You can make a lot. You know, you get oatmeal, you get like a quarter cup of oatmeal. You good. That's like a meal, right? Compared to when you get meat, you're not about to fit a whole Chipotle situation inside that quarter of a cup. Well, any Chipotle, they be skimping on the meat, but you're not about to fit a whole meal or something like that. And it's light to carry. So let's say you had to carry it around. People that's like storing up. You know, some of the lady, the video, they said one lady was storing up for like since the 70s, right? But this the thing. You can store up a lot, which is good. But what happens when you got to leave? You can't take all of it, right? So when you take all of it, you got to think about what can you take. Grain is just, you can do a lot with grain. You can make flour, cereal, pasta, all these things with grain. Can't do that with certain foods, and you can't take them. A can is already heavy. Then you put meat in it, extra heavy. You got to have water in it, extra heavy. Grain, you don't need none of that. Just take the grain. When you get to where you go to, we're making pancakes today, making waffles, you're making bread, cereal. You can switch that once you get to where you at. But with all the other food, not saying you can't take it, but just realize that. So in Ezekiel, they talk about rations. So this one is Ezekiel chapter 4, verses 9 to 11. It says, Take thou also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and fitches and put them in one vessel, and make thee bread thereof according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon thy side. 390 days shalt thou eat thereof, and thy meat shalt thou eat shall be by weight. 20 shekels a day, from time to time shalt thou eat it. Thou shalt drink also water by measure, the sixth part of him from time to time thou drink. So he literally just told him the recipe, right, to have enough food or bread for the whole year. 390 is actually more than a year. So it's a year, it's like a whole nother month, right? This is one person. Right, so just imagine if I got that, you got that, you got that, you got that, and someday you might even want to eat, right? But it'd be different when you're trying to carry. Oh man, you ain't got no chicken, cuz. Just now it's a situation. You ain't got no juice. Well, we ain't got no juice out here, right? Like I said, when you got like a book like this, we can come across fruit out there. You come across more fresh water. You'll come across all these things when you're just out in the wild, right? Not um, realizing what the world has to give to you. But the thing about it is like I don't know. I told you about this. I showed that video with the lady with the lemon tree. She didn't realize she could take lemon off the tree, so she going to the store still buying lemons, and she got a whole lemon tree in her backyard because she didn't know. She really didn't know. I mean, it's kind of sad, but she just didn't know that like they just pull lemon tree. That's it called a tree before you go to the store. She don't know that, so she got a lemon tree growing thousands of lemons, and she going to the store to purchase lemons. They got
You know how expensive lemons is too.
expensive. Yeah, they're expensive.
They had to do something to the lemons so they could be ready. So that's why she kept going.
But that's why I say you need that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? The knowledge is really key. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 25, and then 37, 27, 31. We almost there. We got this last little bit.
And cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. You said 37?
Yeah.
27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. For all things are not profitable for all men, neither hath every soul pleasure in everything. Be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats. For excess of meats bringeth sickness, and Sophrideth will turn into choler. By Sophrideth have many perished, but he that taketh heed prolongeth his life.
So it's either God telling you too much meat, hey, you need to chill out. You know what I'm saying? But that's people. Somebody told me going to all meat diet, which is crazy, and I was like, I can afford that, bro. But I guess I could try it out. Just you can just say this causing my back pain and stuff like that. But even God said it comes with sickness and things like that, right? Just from eating meat. But it also says a good heart will have a care for his meat and his diet. So right here in Sirach 38, chapter 38, verse 4, it says, The Lord have created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. And then in 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 7, it says, And Isaiah said, Take a lump of figs, and he took it and laid it on a boil, and he recovered. So figs, right? People walk on and step on them. I love fig Newtons. I can eat it, it tastes good, and I can also use it to help me out with the illness. Like I said, but this is stuff they don't tell you because, like I said, they told you this. You can't create doctors, you can't create all this stuff in this medicine, but not realizing, yeah, all these things can help. Like, if you ever had a burn, you know, what they tell you, put butter or something on the junk, butter or whatever. If you have a burn, what you really do, you put aloe vera on it. You start. That's when there was no more pain. Cause somebody burnt me. I was screaming out my shoes. I put the aloe vera on. I was like, that never happened. I still had the little bit of the scar because it's going to fizz up just because the reaction to your skin. But just think about what that could do. And they sell aloe vera plants in Walmart. You know what I'm saying? People don't use it, but you have a whole aloe vera plant house. Oh, you got a Band-Aid, cuz? And you still get the hydrox. Nah, just cut the plant open. That's what it's for. It wasn't even crazy once you cut it open, right? You can actually put it back in the ground and it'll grow again. That's what's crazy how God already gives you a system, right? But we don't realize that's a system. We don't take advantage of it. We just go to the grocery store, go to the grocery store, go to the grocery store, go to the grocery store. All right, this is comfort from Christ, right? So this is second address 1674 through 78. It says, Hear, O ye, my beloved, say of the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord God. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins, and covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed and is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. Right? So this is, like I said, literally talking about you not being able to be fearful. When you was talking about what you're supposed to do, well, I'm gonna just say this. I believe that it's not happening to that extreme yet, right? So we still got time. And the reason why I say we got time, had a conversation with my friends who's in here today, Mr. Vincent or Benyamin, because he's a Benjamite. We was talking. He told me that God told him that he's supposed to be a farmer. I laughed him out. I said, "You a farmer? This is crazy." I went home and I told the God, and God was like, "Yeah, he is a farmer. Shut up." I was like, "Okay." And then we started talking about it. I apologized to him, and I didn't even know his daddy owned farms. So it's crazy that God gave me him, gave us him. You know what I'm saying? And once he get on his farming thing, that's your farming. You need your eggs, your fruit. Benjamin right there, he got it. But like I said, that me being, you know what I'm saying, who I am, I know him. And I'm like, you a farmer? Ain't no way. But he said God told us a long time ago in his isolation period, but he kind of got away from it because he came back home. When he came back home, he like, oh, well, go stuff like that. We was just talking. And he was like, yeah, I need to get back on my ish. So that's how God works. He builds a community within, right? So now you got a farmer, you got a medic, you got a fisherman. It's there, right? Now you just gotta, you know what I'm saying, work with the pieces and stuff that's around you. You can read this one. So this is John chapter 14, verse 1 through 4. This is more comforting through the Lord.
Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know.
All right, so it's Christ talking about preparing the houses for him. God said he got a bunch of mansions. We got rooms, all right? So we got space. He said he'll come back and get us. Only if you with him, right? Because he can come back and not get everybody. That is the case, but it's just a promise to not worry about so much is going on. Don't worry about the troubles. Don't worry about fearing. Don't worry about dying. Like, that's part of life. Those are things. One of the reasons why he died, it ain't just because of your sins. He died to show you that, look, God's so powerful, I can bring back the dead. You ain't got nothing to fear. If I can bring back the dead, what you got to worry about? But we so fearful. I don't want to die. I don't want to do this. Oh, my son's sick. Let me get him on the medication. What's happening? Why the machine going on? You figured out. You scared to die. Hey, if you really believe in God, chill. You'll see him again. He just said it. He just told you, chill, be calm, be cool. All right. So this is John chapter 16, verse 19 through 22.
Now Jesus knew that they were desirous to ask him, and said unto them, Do ye inquire among yourselves of that I said, a little while, and ye shall not see me, and again, a little while, and ye shall see me? Verily, verily, I say unto you, that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice, and ye shall be sorrowful. But your sorrow shall be turned into joy. A woman, when she is in travail, hath sorrow, because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembereth no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. And ye now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man taketh from you.
So he's comparing the way you suffer and sorrow like a woman that's going to pay. You ever see a woman give birth? They screaming, this and that, not. As soon as the baby come out and they put the babies in their arms, they just forget about everything. Oh, he's so cute. Like, when you just screaming 30 seconds ago, you was going crazy. Same thing like this, right? You're going through all these sorrows. Yeah, it can be sad from time to time and stuff like that. But he's like, look, it's going to be a time when I come back and you'll rejoice. Because the people right now, the ones who think everything is good, they're rejoicing. They live a life. They turned up. But then when he come, it's going to switch. They're going to have sorrow. Right? But they don't see it that way because they feel like a lot of people really feel like they can stop so much stuff. But let me tell you something. One of the biggest quotes and best quotes I've ever heard was from a movie, but it belongs to the Bible. You cannot stop Judgment Day. You can only hope to postpone it. That's it. So yeah, it may not happen in 2042. It may happen in 2043, but it's going to happen. It's just the inevitable. So we got to deal with the journey and all the suffering, right? So this is the Psalms. This is Psalms chapter 64. It says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, hear my voice, O God, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bent their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And all men shall fear, and all shall declare the work of God. For they shall wisely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord and shall trust in him. And all the upright in heart shall glory. So he's saying, so let's say the government is after us, right? Let's say they are after us, these all these things. God said they're going to shoot their arrows. They're going to do what they do, right? But if you with God, all that's going to get blocked. He got you. And I'm going to shoot the arrows back. We ain't got to do no fighting. Moses didn't do no fighting. They just walked. He put up a stick. Stuff start happening. They ain't lift for one finger. God, like, I want to fight for you. He'll tell you that I want to fight for you. So be with God. Like I said, your enemies going to attack you, stuff like that. You read any of the Psalms, David's always speaking on that. Enemies talking to him. He got into it with his son. He was running from his son at one point, right? He's running from his son. He's running from Saul. But you know what he kept doing? He kept following God. He kept being with God. You know what God was doing? Taking his enemies out every single time. His son get caught up by his own head on a tree. He did. Saul go stab himself on a sword. He did. Like, he doing all this. And what David never did was take action like most people do. He wouldn't go fight them and this and that. He wouldn't not do what God wanted to do. So while everybody trying to attack you, that's cool. That's normal. God says it's going to happen. But you don't worry about that. You focus on me. You keep your eyes on the prize. That's the reason why Peter fell when he was trying to get off the boat walking on water. He was walking on water, but he like, this can't be real. He took his eye off the prize, took his eye off of Christ, boom, fell in. Now Christ got to save him. Always focus on God, no matter what. Bad, good, worse, anything. I tell you all the time, they wake up every day. You winning. You winning. Right? Even if you got something, you wake up with a complication, that's cool. You still when you woke up. Because I don't know what's gonna happen when you die. I don't know what's going on. But what I hear, it ain't too good sometimes. But the fact that you wake up, just be thankful for that, because it can always be worse. People come to my job, you talking about earlier, people come to my job, they mad, they gotta wear glasses. I'm like, well, some people can't see at all. You bad because you need an enhancement. They looking for something. Like, they can't see anything. You taking that for granted. Oh man, whatever. My leg hurts. Some people don't got no legs. Take everything. Don't take nothing for granted. Be cheerful and mindful of everything that you do, and always give it back and glory to God. Always. All right. So that was today's lesson. I know it was long. Thank y'all. It's the videos, man. It was the videos, man. A lot of videos, man. It was the videos, man. I'm telling you, man. What if it was like 10, 15 minutes? It's the video. Oh yeah, I know, right? The video man ain't even here. He wanted the video. But it's all good. But I thank y'all for coming. So y'all know I'm gonna say a prayer and then we can break bread. Y'all get some more of that good cider. I know it's good, right? It was good to me. And some of this food. So thank you everybody. So we can go get this prayer on.
Try to get me a coin there.